Very good. All right. So somehow, somewhere in there, the answer is some of the steps that we need to take in order to start managing our time. You know, when some of the things I heard was get rid of your distractions.
Big time.
You know, things that don't add to your goals
and people
and people. And I'm a very big believer of people. Of getting rid of people. Yeah. You can join me on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. But when it comes to everyday life, we have to build something together.
That's
Otherwise, we need to move on.
That's right.
We need to move on. And that's the choice. And I heard that also in the answers here today. Choice. You know, you have to choose that this is the life you're choosing to live. We're very emotional artists. Artists are very emotional people. So you have to choose that that's what you want. And I'm going to quote W once. He said to me, if you're thinking about being an artist, you have to ask yourself and answer truthfully if art is what you want. Because it can't be something that you like. It has to be something that you really want and that you love. Because if you're doing something that you kind of like, eventually you're not going to like it.
That's right.
And then you're not going to put in what you really need to put in for it to give you back. So,
let me add one thing though.
Yes, sir.
A real lesson that I did learn, and I wanted to bring it up, was I learned to separate my art and my job. Like I have freelance, I work from home, and I have had a studio and I work from home. I got a studio and work from home. But when I'm home and I'm working, I learned to make it a point to separate my home life and my creative time, like you were saying. And the common sense thing is like, okay, yeah, because you can't do two things at the same time. But even deeper than that, I never wanted my children to see me stressed out because of a client. Or I never want them to feel, even though sometimes I debate in my head, I never want them to feel second to my job. You know, and art is my job, you know. So there was a few little things where I caught myself turning into that dad that was locked in the room all the time, or turning into that dad that was when my frustration spilled over, you know. So ever since I kind of realized that about myself and changed that, it's made my home life that much more better, way more productive. I think that what you were saying is key, like. Separate your time and live in that moment. So if it's family time, it's family time. And even if little thoughts are lingering, swap, but make yourself there. Be there 100%. So when you go do your thing, you have no regrets. You have no other, I'm done, bam, and everybody's happy. Now I can do this, and it's all about my art. And vice versa. I'm doing this. When I'm here, like you said, doors shut, y'all gotta let me be. Or I'll just leave, man. Every Wendy's, every restaurant, every bar got Wi-Fi. So if need be, leave the house if I don't have a studio at the time. But it was a very key lesson, and it made a huge difference in my career and personal life. Keep the two separate. You don't want your family feeling like they're getting gypped. And you can't afford to have your art being gypped. So, that was definitely... So
that leads into my question. Well, go ahead.
I got to add some more family stuff. I'm adding enough family stuff in. This is getting more fun. Well, I was always a nut and crazy about the art. So it's like I put my kids into it all the time. So it wasn't, I did not separate myself. My kids, they couldn't understand in school, like, why are my kids getting like the best grades in their art classes or their projects or their science project or the Halloween party they're going to, because we got everybody involved. Yeah. It was fun to bring them into the studio and let them know that's right, to see the tools and things we were doing. And I would teach the kids, okay, now let's take it to another level now. I know all your friends are going to have this, but we're going to take it to another place, okay? Because I'm having fun with this now, right? So it's not just about the usual books and studying, the homework we got to do. Let's take it to another place. Yeah. That was the only way I got over. My wife was very good because she was an educator, so she was really good at doing all that stuff. Like you said, I wouldn't know what to do without that. But I had to put my little crazy part in and always turn it back to the artistic side. I don't know how I did that. If it might be a science project, we're going to do something artistic.
Yeah, so I got an example. Like just recently, my youngest, he's having a hard time with the sounds of the alphabet, right? And so the teacher's writing notes, my wife's, dealing with it, but not really knowing exactly what to do. So everybody's kind of just doing the same thing, the cards, or repeat this. So I was like, man, look, where's all your Play-Doh? I want you to make me an A. So I had him make an A, and actually, so you're a creative person. That makes it fun.
Yes.
So I feel what you're saying.
Because it's stress for them. They get frustrated with that. Because a lot of times the schools can't figure that out. But you never know.
Likely, at least one of your children is going to be an artist. So.
No, they already are.
So I mean, my youngest, I can already tell, he absorbs that faster. He likes hands-on. He likes, making stuff. That's what it is.
Dude, I had a daughter that was underneath my roof every day, and I had no clue that she was an artist. Until she was graduating, I'm getting all the letters in the mail, and she got accepted to SCAD. How did that happen? I went to her mother like, wait a minute, what happened? Did I miss something? I always wanted them to be, but they did it right under my nose, and I didn't really know that they were paying attention to that. So all that stuff we did, I would drag them to the Rock Hall with me. That's why they got their own PR firm down here now. My two youngest daughters, they're just out there doing stuff. I'm like, dang, where'd they get that? When I drugged them to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, when it was my job to go in there and meet with whoever, Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, doesn't matter, I dragged my kids in there. They, at an early age, understood the stuff and was not afraid to be in there with celebrities and art and all this cool stuff that was going on. And they're out there blazing out. I'm like, wow, geez, they just kind of forgot about Dad. I'm just old now, I guess, right? But I'm glad I did something that they are remembering.
Exactly.
I was always running around, like jump in the Corvette, get in the back, duck. You see a cop, let's keep running. Okay, my kids can tell you some stories. But go ahead.
So, how do you turn off the work mode and turn on the art mode and turn on or off the family mode and so on? So start with Brian and work our way that way.
I've always my kids grew up at the art center, so they both my kids are artists, and both of them have been in programs and all that. So it's almost like it was I would separate my time when it came to my own pieces, stuff I was working on. When it came to science projects or anything artistic, we was killing that just on principle. We was having fun, and we're gonna do it like this, and damn, we in there, we having fun. So like my daughter's working on a painting right now at home on my easel, sitting there working. I'm like, okay. I fell asleep on the couch last night watching her work. I was like, man, this is crazy. I was like, this is how I look to you, you know what I mean? But it's almost like it kind of bleeds over, you know what I mean? Even if it's like me not working on a piece, I'm a personal piece, a commission or whatever, because I separate that time just so I can focus. Like you were saying, just get focused in that space. But overall, it's almost not it's almost like it just bleeds over into, you know what I'm saying? Like they've been to plays, concerts, sat behind stage with musicians and stuff. Then they don't even care about that stuff. Like I'm dragging them with me because I had to. Like, yo, come on, let's go up here. We leaving work late, and we doing comic book conventions. We doing all the whole time I've been there. It's been that. So it really is no separation. To answer, it's almost like it just bleeds over into it so tough that they don't even realize how much they are into the arts. They both were studying music for like 5 or 6 years, piano and drums and guitar. You know what I mean? But it's like almost like they really, as young people, didn't really realize what they had access to. You know what I mean? If I had access to that as a kid, it'd have been on. You know what I mean? Time. But they do take advantage. But just being young, you could see that they really kind of understand, and as they get older, it becomes clearer. Like, okay, I see what you're talking about. So it really is a part of the same. It's just I think just the whole artist lifestyle that's just what the household is.
Gotcha. Because I'm gonna say something before they answer their part. I involved my kids in my art. I made them models. They were my models. And I needed to draw something, paint something. And I said, I don't have time to look this up. Look, I need you to stand right here.
Don't have to pay him either.
Hitting you just right. So, make this move. Yeah, move your hand. Yeah, and I did that for one of my art shows. Flyer. I needed a hand holding a brush, and I could not get the shot that I needed with my own hand. So I asked one of my daughters, I need you to stand behind the door and just hold your arm out and hold these brushes, and she did that. Yeah, it came out pretty cool. So yeah, I put them to work. That's
Very good.
it.
Very good.
Go for it. So yes, tell
Well,
us
well.
how do you turn it on and off, and did you ever?
I don't know. But the most difficult time was when we had, I was president of my own commercial art firm and had employees. Oh, what a nightmare. But that was the time I was really absent from being home. Because we have a real business downtown Cleveland trying to grow this business, and it took every ounce of everything we had. I can't tell you how many nights we had to cold pizza. Looking over there and say, okay, who threw that box in the trash? Pull it back out, because we're working on projects night and day, because we're the new game in town. So now we have to prove a lot. We're up against some big, powerful companies that have been around, especially the one that let us go. Yeah. Okay, we know we're in this now. So there was a lot of times I was not home. So I'm glad the wife held that down for that part. Like you said, I couldn't do that time. And but when I did get home, eventually after a quick rest and burnout and all that kind of stuff. Then I would get into what the children are doing and take care of the things at home that need to be done, because I was very good at doing that too. I was never lazy. Like I said, I feel guilty. Like you said, if I'm not doing something wrong. I got to be doing the yard. I got to do this. The art would even carry out into the yard. My yard was sculpted with yin-yangs and koi ponds and waterfalls. I just went crazy in my own yard here, right? I'm going to do some serious gardening up in here. I'm an artist, right? Get the kids out there. They'll tell you, Dad, you were just a slave driver. You had us digging holes for ponds and all this. I'm like, come on, I was out there helping too. They think they did the whole thing. But long as they do, they get a good memory out of it, But I was able to, like I said, those were the hardest years, getting that company up and running. People tell you, if you're getting your own company, and especially if you got employees and the whole thing, it's a very, very hard game to do. And that took a lot out of us. I hope that nothing was really missing when I wasn't there. I can tell it that way because I wasn't there. I had spent many a nights at our farm. We never made it home. I had spent many nights asleep in my car in the driveway. When I finally did get home, I didn't get into the house. I've had nights like that, So, but now, since then, everything's gotten much, much better now. The way I run business now, when you bring it down from employees down to yourself, it gets a lot easier, okay? So that's kind of where things are now.
Okay.
Did I answer it? Sorry.
Yeah, I think you did.
I guess to answer that question, I'll start with beginning stages again of me getting work in and kind of trying to grow my client base, and we've all established already that the majority of artists are pretty emotional. And one of my, I'm pretty self-analytical. Like I study myself, like my moods, and I had issues that were slowing me down. The TV, that was a lesson I had to learn. But one even worse than the TV for me was I've been drawing my whole life, and I love to draw. So when I'm in the mood to draw, I draw. But when it turns into a job, you can't let your mood dictate when you draw, when you create, when you design, or whatever. So I'm finding myself, I'll do that later when I'm in the mood so I can do a better job. And it's true. When you're in the zone and you're in the mood, you're going to kill it.
That's true.
When you're forcing it, you can tell.
Yeah, that's right.
So just kind of facing that reality of, and then throw in the mix of having a family, so which contributes to your mood, whether it's positive or negative. So kind of just when I realized that, I just kind of paid attention to what makes me in a good mood. Also what makes me in a bad mood. Just know yourself, define yourself like that, even down to the details. So when you are in a bad mood or when you feel it coming, the anti-creative energy coming, you can be aware of it, avoid it, or go through it. Sometimes you just got to go through it. I'm a pretty simple person. Like when I need to create, I have a simple formula. I put the music on and a little wine or a little something to sip on to get the let go of everything. And I swear it only takes me maybe by the second, third song, within the 10 minutes, I'm ready to take over the world. Because I play what I know turns me on, that junk that gets you hyped, and then also just it will take me out of the worst mood. Close the door, put it on. This is where I want to be, and let it vibrate, and then you just feel your power. It's like a recharge, and then go in.
Three
that's
songs?
That's how I turn my creative one. You know,
So it takes 3 songs.
3 songs.
Dang it.
Sometimes only one if it's the
Takes
right
me
song.
take me a couple hours.
Did you notice something here with Eric? You know what he said though? Here's